Hello, Facebook. Ty Crandall here with Credit Suite, and I am excited you could join us today. Today, we are going to be diving in and talking about something we've never talked about before. We're going to be talking about Chexsystems. So if you're not familiar with Chexsystems, you should be, because in doing research into Chexsystems, I discovered all kinds of stuff like I didn't know. I never realized that a lot of my banking habits were actually being reported by a credit bureau, and that data was being sold to all kinds of people. Yes, I know Chexsystems. I'm familiar with Chexsystems, but I thought you only really needed to care about Chexsystems if you've done something bad and got your bank account shut down. But the reality is everybody should care about Chexsystems, because it's kind of astonishing what these guys are doing, what they're collecting, who they're giving it to, and how that's determining the kind of banking relationship and products you're given. So we're going to dive into this today. We're going to decode this. I'm going to introduce you to Chexsystems. I'm going to tell you what Chexsystems is, who they are, where they get data, what they do with the data, and I'm going to give you every single thing you need to manage and obtain your Chexsystems account. Did you know that you have a Chexsystems credit score? Did you know you can get your Chexsystems credit score or report for free? We're going to talk about all this stuff today. How to do security freezes, how to lift security freezes, how to get your report, how to get your score. We're going to decode the whole thing today so you know everything about Chexsystems and everything you need to know to go through and access your reports, access your scores, put security alerts, everything you may need to do with this secretive credit reporting agency. So let's dive in. Michael, thanks for coming in. David, thanks for coming in. Robert, Raquel, thanks for coming in. So today we are talking about Chexsystems. I'm going to give you a quick link you're going to love that I just created yesterday. creditsuite.com/Chexsystems. Chexsystems is C-A-H-E-X systems. You're going to want this link. This one link, I've given you the ability to get your reports, your scores, dispute, security freezes, security alerts. It's all on one link I created. I think you're going to love it. creditsuite.com/Chexsystems. So first of all, the little known agency that could have a lot to do with your banking history. So what is Chexsystems? Well, this is a nationwide specialty consumer. Very important here. A lot of people ask about business. Consumer reporting agency, so they are housed under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. First of all, this gives you an advantage because when you have credit that's managed under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you have regulation that says what the credit issuer and the bureau can and can't do. You have that luxury in the consumer world. In the business world, we're not regulated by the Fair Credit Reporting Act, so we don't have that luxury. But when it comes to this is a consumer reporting agency. So Chexsystems is governed under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which means you have the right to dispute items on your account and many other things that we're going to talk about as we dive in today. So basically the clients, you, the banking customer, contribute information on accounts, open and closed, checking, savings, etc. And then what happens is then services to financial institutions, they're buying this data. So banks that want to sell you products are then buying this data to be able to sell you products, okay? So what ultimately happens here is Chexsystems is a whole credit bureau that's secret that most people don't know about. And what happens is they're gathering all this data about your banking history. It's not just whether you defaulted on a banking account. It's everything. It's how many accounts you have. It's how you manage those accounts. Here's something you didn't know. Every time you have a non-sufficient funds, that is reported to Chexsystems. So all the data about your banking history is what gets reported to Chexsystems. So again, I think there's this belief, there's this myth that people think that Chexsystems only really matters if you actually default on a banking account. If you walk away with a negative balance and it makes it hard for you to get another bank account. That's not the case. The reality is all of your history is going to Chexsystems. How you're managing your bank accounts, the type of accounts you have, the volume of accounts you have. You have an overdraft, you have a non-sufficient funds, that stuff gets reported to Chexsystems as well. So a lot of data is going into Chexsystems. So what is this used for? Well, a lot of banks are basically using it to get more information on your banking habits. And I say credit habits here, but it really has to do more with your banking habits. So they're reporting the closed accounts you've had, the open accounts you've had, the non-sufficient funds, the overdrafts, everything to do with how you've managed the bank account is what gets reported up here to Chexsystems. Okay, so how do you get a Chexsystems report? Because you need to do this. I mean, the bottom line is it's free to do it.
So if it's free to get a Chexsystems report and it's being used and information about you is being bought by all these lenders to make all kinds of decisions, you should probably know what's on that report. Do you know what your banking history looks like on a report that other lenders can see? Why not find out? So to get a Chexsystems report, or let's talk a little bit more about the report. So first of all, you're going to have to verify that you're over 18 years old. You're going to have to add basic details like your date of birth, your address. You're going to have to add your social as well. Remember, this is a consumer reporting agency. Consumer reporting agencies, they're using your social security number to identify you. So you're going to have to provide the social to actually get that report. And in paper, mail, in about 5 business days is what they claim to actually get a copy of your report. Now you can do this at creditsuite.com/Chexsystems. So we went ahead and put everything you need at this link to be able to dispute items, get your free reports, and get your free scores as well. Now, scoring. Now, this is a very different scoring algorithm than anything we're used to with consumer and commercial credit. Okay, the score ranges from 100 to 899. The higher the score, the lower the risk. So your goal with the score, and I'm going to teach you how to get the credit score at no cost. The goal with the score is to make sure you get as high of a score as possible. Okay, so a little bit surprising here. A lot of people don't even know that they have a secret credit score that has to do with their banking history that's used to determine the rates and terms that you may get on banking products, the kind of accounts that you're offered, etc., etc. So why not get your report? Why not get your Chexsystems score? Because it's free. So again, not only can you get this report, you can grab the score, but you should know that when you see this score, it ranges from 100 to 899, and you want to make sure that you have the highest score as you possibly can. Now remember, you can go to creditsuite.com/Chexsystems. Chexsystems is CHEX systems, and that one link will give you everything you need to know. So how can this possibly help you? Well, first of all, it keeps track of check fraud, no non-sufficient funds. For me, gathering that data and selling it on your behalf, or selling it so people know about your history isn't necessarily a benefit to you, but maybe it is if you have good bank account management. So this can help you in a lot of different things. One, it helps prevent fraud, period. Secondly, it can help you. It's what gives you the ability to go in and get a multitude of different bank products. It's what gives you the ability to come in and get offered the kind of accounts that you want to get at the bank. It matters. So having this history is what helps make it easy for you to establish new banking relationships when you want to. Look, anybody that's opened a bank account will tell you it's pretty easy to do. You probably know that. You go in the bank and you set it up. But it might be easy for you because you have a good Chexsystems report. If you have issues on your Chexsystems, opening up new accounts can be more difficult than you think that it may be, and you might not have access to the best kind of accounts you actually want to get. So again, it helps you. Chexsystems helps you by keeping track of fraud, and also getting the good history as well as the bad over to the people that are monitoring your reports. Now you can also put alerts credit issuers when you have history of poor account management and good account management. So again, it's very important that you manage your bank account responsibly, because whether you know it or not, any non-sufficient funds gets reported to them. Okay, so it becomes very, very, very important. They also offer security alerts and freezes. So if something's going on with your banking history that they should know about, you need to do this. This is a really big deal because, for example, this happened to us the other day. Okay, my wife's car got broke into. They stole her purse. They stole the things you never want to get stolen. They stole her license and her checkbook. And so then it was, their license and her debit card. So the problem is that they're then writing fake checks on this account using the license to actually cash it. So she had to shut down her bank accounts and open new ones, but they could still do damage even with that being the case. So Chexsystems and being able to put security alerts and security freezes on your Chexsystems report becomes very important. If anything happens and somebody accesses your bank account, as it did with us, and does fraudulent activity, to make sure it doesn't happen with the new banks that you open those accounts with. So a lot of benefits in grabbing that information. So if you're a victim of identity theft, for example, this could really be a big deal to put these kind of alerts and freezes on there. And it's also vital because of things like the 2017 Equifax security breach, which is kind of old news for a lot of us. So let's talk about security alerts. Remember, you can put security alerts on your Chexsystems report, get your Chexsystems report, get your Chexsystems score, all at creditsuite.com/Chexsystems. I wanted to make one page that made it easy for you to get everything you need. Security alerts. You can add a 7-year security alert to your Chexsystems credit report, okay? Now, this is not, you're gonna need a notarized paper affidavit, which again, at this link, you're going to be able to get all you need to get this done, but I'm just telling you up front what you're going to need. And for identity theft, it's not going to hurt if you add a Chexsystems alert, and it's not going to hurt if you go ahead and add a police report too when you send it over. But you're going to have to send a notarized paper affidavit about whatever happened to why you need to add the security alert. Look, when you really have something happen like my wife did, I can tell you the best thing to do is just send the police report. Send a copy of the police report when you're doing this stuff, because a filed police report means you're not just somebody faking identity theft to try to fix stuff that's really legitimate. A real, actual police report proves to the credit bureaus that you really did have identity theft. So even though if it's not required, if you have real identity theft, go ahead and include the police report here, because when you do so, you just have less resistance from the credit bureaus when you're filing an actual security freeze. Okay, so Michael says they definitely have access to 2 of my banks. I contacted them. Yes, and Michael, now you're now able to come in and get your free report and score to see what information they have at creditsuite.com/Chexsystems. Now, I reference that link a lot, but I'll just show you really quick what's on the other side. So what I basically did was just take all the links that are out there for Chexsystems and just put it on one page. Access your reports, you can get your score, you can get the security freeze added, you can lift the security freeze, you can also come in and add alerts, you can even go through the process of disputing, and all of these links they do is they just link back to Chexsystems. The links were way too long for me to ever add them here, so I added one place where you could access all of them. So security freezes. So first of all, they're going to ask you to verify, backing up here so I can pick up my Sharpie cover. So verify that you're 18 years or more. Okay, so you're going to have to do that. They're going to ask for that same kind of information: date of birth, social security number, address. Okay, and you're going to get a PIN number that's going to be necessary for you to add the security freeze. Now, there could be delays because there's a lot of requests due to this data breach with Equifax, but this is the information you're going to need. A lot of people don't know about Chexsystems, so hopefully you're still going to be okay. But remember, to get the freeze lifted, you're going to have this PIN. So you need to keep track of this PIN number they're going to give you. And again, security alerts, security freezes, you can go to creditsuite.com/Chexsystems, and you can get both of those right there. So let's talk a little bit about disputing these reports. So again, this is governed by the Fair Credit Reporting. Whoops, I just missed it. Well, my reverse, sorry about that, I mean to make everybody sick. My reverse back to me on my Facebook is not working. So we are going to look at this. So remember, this is governed under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So that means you could dispute it, and you have the same rights as you do when you go ahead and dispute something with TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian. So keep that in mind. So disputing Chexsystems reports, you have the right to dispute, as we talked about. You're going to need documentation to keep your details organized. You want to keep track of what you're doing. If you dispute over one item, you got to be clear about exactly what you are actually disputing, okay? It becomes very important for you to be able to do so. Now, dispute details, okay? So you could dispute online, fax, mail, or by phone, okay, at the source of the info. Now, again, with credit reporting, it really becomes more important than you probably do fax or mail, because when they're using a system like eOscar, then you're just helping them by feeding it online. So fax, mail, phone, those are great ways to consider. Now what happens is Chexsystems contacts the data furnisher. That's the one that told them the information of the allegedly correct information, and it takes about 5 business days for them to actually be able to do that. So about 5 days is what you expect for them to send the dispute to the party that you're disputing it with. The furnisher then investigates it. The investigation is done in 30 days, 21 days for Maine. Very similar. We're dealing with Fair Credit Reporting Act type of terms, which is where you have 30 days from the date of receipt to process the dispute. Okay, then action is taken to delete the item, update it, we tell you it's verified, whatever it may be. Now, again, you have a little bit of an advantage here. This isn't TransUnion Equifax Experian. This isn't consumer credit. Not nearly as many people are disputing this, nor do very many people at all even know how to dispute this. So you should have a chance of getting it done faster and hopefully a little bit better results than what you're going to find with consumer credit disputes. But again, can't account for that. Never personally disputed anything through Chexsystems. I'm only telling you this because that's what we find in the business credit world. Consumer credit isn't the same as business credit. Business credit's a little bit easier for us to dispute because not a lot of people are disputing, and the bureaus don't seem to throw up as much resistance when you say something's wrong. I'm hoping the same is true with Chexsystems, where because there's not as many people disputing, you're not going to have as many resistance because they're not used to as many people claiming that information is not accurate. So again, they are going to ask you to verify that you're over 18, date of birth, social address info, all that stuff. They're going to ask you for, and they're going to ask you for what's called a Chexsystems ID. Well, you're only going to get that if you get your copy of your credit report. You're going to have to get that Chexsystems report. Now, you can dispute multiple items. Okay, there's separate fields to do so, but you just need to clarify that you're disputing more than one item. You may have documentation to prove that what you're disputing is incorrect. Okay, and again, the investigation I talked about could take about 30 days. So if you go to creditsuite.com/Chexsystems, then again, what you want to do is you want to first get your report. Okay, you need to do that. That will have your score. Know that, again, 899 is the highest. The higher the score, the better. Then what you want to do is you want to then start the dispute knowing that you're going to need the actual report number from when you got your report. So that's kind of the course of action that you're actually going to follow. Now, if you add info during the investigation, it may take more than 15 days to process. You may not want to dispute to have information removed. You may want to dispute to have information added. If that's the case, it could take 15 days or more. Okay, and it pays to provide all the information up front, because if they come back to you and you go back and forth, that could take a significantly longer time, or you might not supply information you have which could have helped you get it fixed, where they won't fix it because they didn't get the information. So again, it's not even a bad idea if you're going to dispute it to include the report with dispute, highlight, circle, whatever you can do to make it clear to them what you're disputing and why you're disputing it makes a ton of sense. So if you're disputing by mail, here's their address. Go ahead and write that down. I'll keep you here for a few minutes. Chexsystems Inc., Attention Consumer Relations, 7805 Hudson Road, Suite 100, Woodbury, Minnesota, 55125. That's the actual address if you're disputing by mail, okay? Now, dispute correspondence, again, full name, social, mailing address, consumer ID. Remember, the ID is going to be their ID from their credit report. Identity info being disputed and specific nature of dispute, what you're disputing and why you're disputing it. Okay. Now, if you're disputing by fax or mail, or fax or phone, there's the information you need. Okay, by phone, you want to call them, 800-513-7125. Okay, ask to speak to a rep. Tell them, again, have the report on hand. They're going to ask for your report number to tell them what needs to be disputed. And by fax, that's your actual fax number right there with Chexsystems as well. So you can actually dispute by fax with Chexsystems. So what information can you dispute with Chexsystems? Well, the personal information, okay, so all of your personal info, your date of birth, your social, your name, any of that can be reported. Inquiries initiated. So there are inquiries that you're going to see on your credit report as well. And again, any inquiries that weren't initiated by a consumer action, like you tried to set up a new bank account or apply for a new bank product, can be disputed as well. Okay, other information, okay, category, the check, the savings, the category of account you have or have had, those things can be disputed as well. History of checks ordered, yes. When you ordered checks shows on your report. Okay, I don't know if that's good or bad, but we can dispute it, so that's good. Social Security, you can verify or validate that. Driver's license information. So they're typically going to use, I think, your Social Security number and your driver's license as validation, and then any other additional details that you see on
such as when you've opened accounts, when you've closed accounts, non-sufficient funds. Really, any information is free for you to go after and dispute that's on your Chexsystems report. So, a lot of information here. You need to know about this. Did you know, before you started here, there's a secret credit bureau that keeps all of your banking information and at will gives it to anybody that wants it to offer you bank products and determine whether you can get bank accounts, shouldn't get bank accounts. Now you know. That's what Chexsystems is. Here's the great news. It's free to get your credit report with Chexsystems. It's free to get your credit score with Chexsystems and know what all these other banks know about you. And it's also free to add security alerts, remove security alerts, add security freeze, remove security freeze, dispute the information. Anything you need to do with security freezes, alerts, or disputing is all free with Chexsystems as well. So again, that link is creditsuite.com/Chexsystems. Made it real simple. And on that link, you're able to get your report. You're able to get your actual credit score. You're able to add security alerts. You're able to add security freezes. You're able to remove security freezes. And you're also able to get all the information you need to dispute items on your Chexsystems account. So now you pretty much know what Chexsystems is, who they are, what they do, the kind of data they collect, who they're giving the data to, and now you also know how your Chexsystems credit score works, what's on your report, and you also know how to dispute through fax, through phone, through mail, and you also know exactly the type of items that can be disputed, the information they're going to need for a dispute. So I think we're good here. I think you pretty much know everything you need to know about Chexsystems. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to reach out to us, 877-600-2487. That's 877-600-2487. Don't forget to grab your free guide on building business credit at creditsuite.com/Facebook. And for this stream especially, most important, go to creditsuite.com/Chexsystems to be able to do everything you need to do with Chexsystems, including getting your report, getting your score, disputing, security freezes, alerts, etc. Next week, we're going to be diving into a bunch of fantastic business loan options that you can get even as a startup. And in the weeks to come, we're going to pull the curtain behind another one, the Small Business Financial Exchange, another one that you should know about. Did you know that lenders, the credit issuers, that the credit bureaus all are getting their information from one data warehouse? That's a Small Business Financial Exchange. We're going to talk about the root of where the data that all these people about you comes from, because you need to know about how Small Business Financial Exchange works. Why? Because they're owned by lenders. And it's all about lenders sharing your data to determine if you should get loans. We're going to dive in and decode that. And then we're going to talk about building business credit the fastest, foolproof way as we get into November. So I will see you next Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern here on Facebook when we dive in and we talk more about how fantastic loan options any business can get, even startups. If you missed this, then go back to facebook.com/Credit Suite and watch this video in its entirety to learn everything you need to know about Chexsystems, including how to get your reports, scores, and do everything else, including disputing and security freezes. Thanks to you all. I will see you next Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern here on Facebook. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.